Greetings, community group leaders and teachers. This is your teaching series extra for Sunday, December 22nd. We're continuing our series called Do the Next Thing, looking at the stories surrounding the birth of Jesus. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time God threw you a curveball to your plans? Oftentimes following Jesus means being in for some surprises as God takes us in places that we didn't expect to go. And it's hard to think of a more dramatic change of events than the shepherds experienced outside of Bethlehem when a whole army of angels showed up to announce to the shepherds that Jesus was born. Now, you may have never thought of this before, but what a very odd event. Why would God send an entire army of angels to announce the birth of Jesus to a small group of insignificant shepherds? Shepherds were some of the lowest of the society and completely insignificant by most people's standards and considered ceremonially unclean and untrustworthy by many. And yet God chooses to send a whole army of angels to announce Jesus to these shepherds. So this week in your community groups, I encourage you to talk about times where God has surprised us with a new direction or something that He's doing in our life. Oftentimes it creates bewilderment and not knowing what on earth is going on until we have some time to process those changes. But when's the last time that God really sent you in a direction that was complete surprise? For the shepherds, we see they respond to this message with action. Even though the angels don't command them to go, the shepherds turn to each other and at great risk really decide to go into Bethlehem. It was a risk because the people of Bethlehem would not have approved of these shepherds coming into town. They were, like I said, considered unclean and untrustworthy, and so it was a risk for them to go into the city. And it was also a risk, if you've never thought of it, to leave the sheep. No matter, even if they left a couple behind, obviously the herds were going to be at great risk while they were there. So they were putting their livelihood at risk in order to go and see Jesus. But that's what they do. They do the next thing. They respond to the angel's announcement and head into Bethlehem. And because of that, their lives are completely and forever changed. They become the first witnesses that the Messiah has come. They begin to tell people and to worship. And it says the people wondered at what they had heard. Could we really trust these guys? Isn't it amazing that God would choose shepherds, random shepherds outside of Bethlehem, as the first witnesses that the King of the universe had come? So I hope it's a great week of study for you and your groups. I hope it's fruitful as you talk about what God may be doing or how He may be surprising you with what He has in store for this next coming year. So we're thankful for you and thankful for how you lead your groups. May it be a wonderful Sunday together.